Great. I'm here in Trackunit Manager and opening the Trackunit AI Assistant on the right hand side. Here I have the ability to engage with natural language with Trackunit Manager. I'm asking how many assets I have, but I quickly want to dive deeper and actually request whether there are any scissor lifts with an upcoming service. And without further ado, the AI agent, as we see here, is getting to work, directly identifying here a Skyjack scissor lift that has an upcoming service due. So let's quickly check. We're going into the asset information, the respective service plan, and as we can see here, indeed there's an upcoming service. What I'm doing next is navigate to our sites, and here I'm checking the Leonhard depot. Here I'm putting myself in the shoes of a site manager. So being responsible for the site, I'm asking whether I can get an overall summary of what is currently going on our depot. And again, the AI agent is getting to work here immediately, providing me site information, asset activity status, a fleet health overview, as well as a service status. Pretty cool, right? So what I'm going to do next is engage a little bit further with our Leonhard depot. As a manager of the site, I'm also responsible to actually provide people with access to machines on the site, so that only personnel that is allowed to use the machinery can actually use it in order to prevent any safety hazards. And what I'm doing here is providing our best operator in class, Mikkel, the access management keys so that he can use them. And that's what we see here on the right hand side. But let's double check whether it actually happened. So I'm navigating here on the left hand side to our access management functionality. I'm seeing my operators such as Mikkel Dalgas, and I'm also looking at the keys. So here we just have the site key for the Leonhard depot for the operator Mikkel Dalgas that was just created. So indeed, the AI acted on our behalf here. Now going back into the Leonhard depot. Another use case that we see frequently in the field is everything around billing, of course. So what I'm asking here, our AI assistant, to update the billing reference custom field on all assets to be subcontractor next, in order to directly allocate the machinery usage as per the correct subcontractor. And again, the AI assistant is going to work for us. Here, reference successfully updating the billing reference, as we can see here. But again, let's quickly double check. So we're going on the assets on the side here. Apparently we have only two. So let's quickly jump into the Wacker Neuson vibrating plate that we see here and navigate to our specifications. And voila, the billing reference has been set to subcontractor next. Great. The last manual thing I want our AI assistant to do is actually create a site-based theft alert. So something that we see very frequently as well, whenever a machine is leaving a site, especially without proper permissions, we want the site manager to be notified immediately so that the theft can actually be prevented. And the AI assistant is getting to work, created a site-based theft alert here, as we can see, specifies also the monitored assets. And let's quickly check whether this is the case here. So I'm going into our alerts, I'm checking the Leonhard depot theft alert that has just been created 19 seconds ago. Great. So where we just left off was how IrisX helps users act in the moment. But many tasks are somewhat repetitive and can be automated further to save every worker time which can be focused elsewhere. So let's get into it. In IrisX, automation starts in conversation. Users describe intent, not configuration, which IrisX translate into automations within Manager. I'm using two examples from earlier. First off, a workflow that enrolls an asset in the same site-based theft alert from earlier when being moved to the site. So when an asset is being removed from a site, the site manager is identified immediately. So as discussed earlier, a workflow that we have seen a lot with our customers and partners. Secondly, I now want assets that enter the site to have the same billing reference of a subcontractor. To get this done typically requires manual steps or integration work, right? But here we actually make it event-driven, rather using GPS location as the trigger. This also represents a workflow that we see a lot especially with contractors that are responsible for massive sites and want to enable automated billing workflows. And what I want to say here is that these are merely two examples, right, that illustrate IrisX automation. What I want everyone in the audience to take away from this is that multiple agents can be set up in parallel. They act upon certain triggers, maybe similar to how a human would, and the workflows can operate continuously without user intervention. What this really does, it gives time back to the teams, whether that's behind the desk or in the field.